All right, that was Jair Alexander, who has been one of the best interviews in the sport. He's on fire, Jair, after how he broke down the Tyreek Hill route where he got the pick. But look, he has become relevant because the Packers are relevant, and they're in the hunt for the NFC playoffs. They are 7-8. They have a huge game against the Vikings that we're going to talk about. But if the Packers, if they win out, they don't need much help to then get in, and they play the Vikings this week and then home to Detroit, and Jared Goff don't like the cold, so I think the Packers will likely get in should they win out. Seahawks, it's going to be tough sledding for them. They need to win both games and get some help as well, and we can't get rid of the New Orleans Saints or the Carolina Panthers yet either, Lawrence, in the decrepit NFC South.
The Saints, that's wild, man.
Yeah, they're coming. They're coming. Beat Gardner Minshew and Sam Darnold, and they might be able to get into the playoffs if they get a little bit of help as well. The Packers, they don't quite control their own destiny, but close, and they play the Vikings. They're 3.5-point favorites. The total is 48 in Green Bay. Now, I think the thing to watch here is that Christian Watson, he left the Miami game hurting his hip just before the half. He was quietly, I think he had 6 catches for 49 yards. He could have had 8 for 120 and 2 touchdowns.
He was on his way to having a game.
I don't know if Aaron Rodgers has got Watson on his fantasy team or what, but he's just been feeding him the ball. He did everything humanly possible to get him a touchdown at the end of the Rams game as well. But looks like he may not play because he hasn't practiced the past 2 games, so that's definitely one to watch. But let's talk about potential sit starts on the Minnesota side first. Yeah. Adam Thielen, who has underwhelmed for most of the year, but gets a favorable matchup against a pass D in Green Bay that hasn't been great.
Yeah, so I'm definitely saying I don't want no parts of Adam Thielen in fantasy. If it gets to that point, I'd rather just play KJ Osborne, to be completely honest with you.
Wow, KJ.
Yeah,
from the ashes.
Give me KJ, man. Even though he kind of fell, he did fall off last week after his big game, but TJ Hawkinson and Justin Jefferson are the apple of Kirk Cousins' eye right now. He knows that's when he want the points. That's where he go. He need a catch when he got to throw a ball with his eyes closed. Throw it to one of them. They gonna make it happen. So I'm good on Adam Thielen. Only scores 8 points a game when he don't score a touchdown. Fewer than 50 receiving yards in 5 of the last 7 games. I'm good on that, Jay.
Yep. I think this is going to be a big Justin Jefferson game, not splitting the atom by declaring a big Justin Jefferson game in advance, but he only needs 144 yards.
I don't know, though, because he don't get out. He don't put on no Superman suit. You heard what Jair Alexander said. He don't put...
Yeah, good luck to Jair. And Lawrence, you got Justin Jefferson second behind Jamar Chase, who plays against the Bills. What we expect will be a shootout. Now, there's no Green Bay Packers in that top 10, but I think that we're confidently starting Aaron Rodgers, right?
Yes, sir. Yeah. Definitely. I got him inside my top 10 this week, and that's the highest I've had him all season. 9 of the 11 last QBs that went up against this Minnesota defense has gotten 17 or more fantasy points, and they've allowed 300 or more passing yards in 6 of the last 7 games. So you get that, you get that here at Green Bay, right, with the playoffs on the line. If he gets Christian Watson back, that's a big if right there. You want to see him with all his weapons, but this could be a feel-good time. If you lost the Tua, if you don't have Jalen Hurts, Aaron Rodgers is a guy that could supplement that production for you. Okay, let's talk about some of Rodgers' weapons now. Aaron Jones doesn't look like he's healthy at the moment. Maybe an extra week will help him, but what are you doing with him and A.J. Dillon? Yeah, so, Dillon's been good. 5 touchdowns in his last 4 games. Running back 6 overall since week 12, which we don't need to tell you that that's good. Is Aaron Jones even healthy? That's the question. I don't think so. Playing against Miami, all of us kind of wondering, why he ain't getting the ball? I wasn't mad because I was going against him in fantasy, but why he's played fewer than 40% of the snaps in 2 of the last 3 games. That's scary. Under 40 rushing yards in 4 of the last 5 games, right? So, and I have him at running back 10 this week. That's assuming he'll be healthy. I might have him ranked too high. To be completely honest with you, I need to close that gap between Aaron Jones and A.J. Dillon.
Okay, let's go to another divisional blockbuster, and this is Panthers at Bucks.
This is the big one.
This is the big one, just like we drew it up preseason. Sam Darnold, Tom Brady, and a pretty evenly matched battle of pretty weak offenses. But the Panthers, 3-point dogs in Tampa. The total is 40.5. Let's start with the Panthers. What are you doing with DJ Moore, Deonta Foreman, and Chuba Hubbard?
Well, you're going to go ahead and, Deontay Foreman, Chuba Hubbard, I said they both flex plays. I mean, did you see him last week looking like Jonathan Stewart and D'Angelo Williams? Come on now. Like they
pounded.
If you got them, they nice flex plays. DJ Moore is a solid flex play. I still got him in the top 24. 18-plus fantasy points in 3 of his last 4 games. So that'll be solid there. You worry about the low over-under here at 40. That's what you kind of worry about, but other than that, man, it'll be okay for them.
Okay, let's talk about the Bucks. And look, the Panthers' defense has been really solid, but now J.C. Horn is out. They're signing Josh Norman to the practice squad, which you don't love. Don't sign Josh Norman to the practice. If they're starting Josh Norman against Chris Godwin and Mike Evans, that's a problem. But how are you feeling about Tom Brady and Mike Evans, who are both underwhelmed this year, but might actually have a more favorable matchup than anticipated?
Yeah, you said it right there. J.C. Horn, not just a starting corner, he been balling. Yep. I'm initially out on Mike Evans, but now that you know that Josh Norman might be over there, he was at the coffee shop. He was working he said he put that on hold. Let me go play some football real quick. Let me go cover Mike Evans because he ain't been doing anything. This is exactly what Josh Norman was thinking. He was like, man, Mike Evans done had under 10 fantasy points in 4 of his last 5 games. I'm 35, but I could still go cover that. So obviously we don't feel great about Mike Evans' situation, but, with the chemistry he has with Chris Godwin, man, in the playoffs again, on the line, they win the division here. Tom Brady, where you at, baby? I put you in my top 10 this week, so they'll get it done.
Okay, let's race through Colts-Giants because it is a game from a fantasy perspective that demands that. Colts 6-point dogs, the total is a lowly 38. Now, I would just be sitting all my Colts. Is there any Colt that you want to start?
No.
No. All right.
Nah, not at all. Even Michael Pittman, I'll sit him. Nick Foles got sacked way too many times.
Yep.
Offense off, yeah.
Worst performance by a quarterback all season statistically, Nick Foles against the Chargers. The Giants, I think, are more interesting. Isaiah Rodgers, star cornerback for the Colts, he is on IR. Kenny Moore hasn't practiced in like a month. Don't think he's going to play either. So I think that this will be a more favorable matchup than anticipated. And are you comfortable starting Daniel Jones?
Definitely comfortable starting Daniel Jones. 17-plus fantasy points in 4 of his last 6 games here. He always bring that rushing element, so I have him as a quarterback 1 this week. His receivers, one of the guys right there, Isaiah Hodgins right there, he could be a long shot flex play. And I put the word long shot in there, so don't be saying like, oh, Lawrence said he a flex play. Like, I'm just saying, like, he been playing good. Got a career high targets, versus Minnesota last week.
Yep. Giants pass catchers, not as bad as anticipated.
They're not.
They're really
They're
solid.
not.
Slayton's good. Richie James has been solid.
These dudes taking their opportunity.
Absolutely. All right, let's go. Browns, Commanders, Cleveland are 2-point dogs in Washington. The total here is 40 flat. What are you doing with Amari Cooper?
Well, you're gonna have to go out here and start him. 10 targets versus New Orleans last week in the snow. We've known he hasn't been doing good since Deshaun Watson came back, but at least this time Deshaun Watson targeted him. So there you go right there. Donovan Peoples-Jones, he's kind of cooled off in recent weeks, so I'm off of that.
Yep. And I think on the Washington side, you're feeling really good about Brian Robinson with the matchup against that Cleveland run defense.
For sure.
What about Terry McLaurin and Jahan Dotson?
Jahan Dotson's been outscoring him. He's been outscoring him the past 3 weeks, so I actually, got Terry McLaurin ranked higher. He's the number 1 receiver, but when Carson Wentz was healthy earlier in the year, right, McLaurin wasn't doing as good. Jahan Dotson was, so that's looking like, for now, it's looking like a 1A, 1B type situation.
Yep, Carson Wentz loves himself some Jahan Dotson.
Mm-hmm.
All right, let's close out with Bears, Lions. This is the highest total on the slate. It is 52 at BetMGM. Bears 6-point dogs. Let's start with Chicago, and let's talk David Montgomery and Cole Kmet.
Yeah, this one's fun. Like you said, highest total. Detroit just gave up 320 rushing yards out of nowhere. So I like him. Obviously, because of the high total, you like most guys this game. Like Cole Kmet here from the tight end position. As far as DeAndre Swift and Jamal Williams goes, again, there's plenty of other situations like this at running back in the league. One of them's going to do it. You just don't know which one. I lean DeAndre Swift.
Okay, and you're starting Jared Goff this week. There is no
definitely.
better matchup. All right, we're going to go to break. When we come back, weekend winners.
Hey, it's Matthew Berry from NBC Sports and Rotoworld.com. Just want to thank you so much for watching what you just watched, or at least being too lazy to click out of it after the autoplay just kept it going. So either way, thank you so much for just letting it scroll by your screen. And now I'd like to ask you respectfully, please subscribe to the NFL on NBC YouTube channel for the latest NFL news, fantasy headlines from Rotoworld, and betting analysis from NBC Sports Edge.